Hello everyone. This is Dr. Vignesh Mekha, Assistant Professor of Geography, Government Degree College for Women's, Begumpet, Hyderabad. In this session, the atmospheric composition and structure part 2, we are going to discuss about the composition of the atmosphere. The atmosphere can be described as a blanket of air surrounding the Earth. The enveloping mixture of gases contains huge numbers of solid and liquid particles collectively called aerosols. Some of the gases may be regarded as permanent atmospheric components that remain in fixed proportions to the total gas value. The other constituents vary in quantity from place to place and from time to time. If the suspended particles, water vapor, and other variables gases were excluded from the atmosphere, we would find that the dry air is very stable all over the Earth up to an altitude of about 80 kilometers. The cover of the atmosphere around our planet Earth, a mechanical combination of several gases and additional substances, are very significant to all living organisms on the planet. For our convenience or the suitability, the composition of the atmosphere is divided into three major points as the following. There are 1. The gaseous components, 2. Liquid components, and 3. Solid components. First, we will look into the gaseous components of the gaseous material. The composition of the Earth's atmosphere is largely governed by the byproducts of the life that it sustains. The table on the screen shows you the dry air from Earth's atmosphere contains 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, 0.93% of argon, 0.04 or 0.36% of carbon dioxide, and traces of hydrogen, helium, and other noble gases. The four foremost gases, the nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and carbon dioxide, collectively account 99.99% of the total volume of the dry air. The highest concentration is of nitrogen with more than 78%, while the oxygen is about 21%. The remaining gases are often referred to as trace gases, among which are the greenhouse gases, principally carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and ozone. Various industrial pollutants also may be present as gases or aerosols, such as chlorine, fluorine components, and elemental mercury vapors. Sulfur components, such as hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, may be derived from natural sources of industrial air pollution. permanent gases of the atmosphere. The permanent atmospheric gases remain in fixed proportion to total gas value. Other constituents such as methane, neon, helium, krypton, hydrogen, and xenon vary in quantity from place to place, from time to time. Heavier gases like nitrogen and oxygen tend to stick at the bottom of the atmosphere. The proportion of gases changes in the higher layers of the atmosphere in such a way that oxygen will be almost in negligible quantity at the height of 120 kilometers above from the Earth's surface. Similarly, carbon dioxide and water vapor are found only up to 90 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. The important constituents of the atmosphere. Of the total gases, the following 4 can be considered as the important constituents of the atmosphere. Yeah, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and ozone. Oxygen. All living organisms inhale oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Besides, oxygen can combine with other elements to form important compounds such as oxides. Also, normal combustion is not possible without the presence of oxygen. Next is nitrogen. It is a relatively inert gas and is an important constituent of all organic compounds. The main function of the nitrogen is to control combustion by diluting the oxygen, that is, it prevents spontaneous combustion of oxygen in the atmosphere. The nitrogen also indirectly helps in oxidation of different kinds, and it is very important for the leguminous plants in order to produce food. The next is carbon dioxide. The green plant, through photosynthesis, absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Being an efficient absorber of heat, carbon dioxide is a very important factor in the heat energy budget. With increased burning of fossil fuels such as oil, coal, and natural gas, the carbon dioxide percentage in the atmosphere has been increasing at an alarming rate, and which will be dangerous for the future generations. More carbon dioxide in the atmosphere means more heat absorption takes place. This would significantly rise the temperature at lower levels of the atmosphere. Thus, inducing drastic climatic changes across the board. And fourth is the ozone. Ozone is a type of oxygen molecule that consisting of three oxygen atoms in it. It forms less than 0.00005% by volume of the atmosphere and is unevenly distributed in the atmosphere. The ozone lies between 20 to 30 kilometers altitude in the stratosphere that the greatest concentration of ozone are found in this layer. The ozone is formed at higher altitudes due to the interaction between oxygen and ultraviolet light and transported downwards. Ozone layer plays a crucial role in blocking or filtering the harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun and protecting the human life or the living organisms from the harmful radiations. The next is the liquid components or the liquid materials in the atmospheric composition. The water vapor is one of the most variable gaseous substances that are present in the atmosphere, which constituting between 0.02% and 4% of the total volume of air, that is in cold, dry and humid tropical climates respectively. 90% of moisture content in the atmosphere exists within 6 kilometers of the 6 kilometers from the surface of the earth. Similar to the carbon dioxide, water vapor also plays a significant role in the insulation action of the atmosphere. The ozone absorbs the water vapor absorbs not only the long wave terrestrial radiation, that is infrared or heat emitted by Earth during nights, but also a part of the incoming short-wave solar radiation, that is visible light and ultraviolet radiation. Water vapor is the main source of the precipitation and clouds formation in the atmosphere. On condensation, the water vapor releases latent heat of condensation, the ultimate driving force behind all storms. The next is the solid materials or the solid particles in the atmospheric composition. The solid particles present in the atmosphere consist of sand particles from weathered rock and also derived from the volcanic ash, pollen grains, the small organisms, soot, ocean salts. The upper layers of the atmosphere may even have fragments of the meteors which got burnt up in the atmosphere. All these solid particles perform the function of absorption, reflection, scattering the radiation, solar radiation. The solid particles are consequently responsible for the orange and red colors at sunset and sunrise, and for the length of dawn, that is, the first appearance of light in the sky before sunrise, and twilight, that is, the soft glowing light from the sky when the sun is below the horizon, caused by the refraction of the sun rays by the atmosphere. The blue color of the sky is also due to the selective scattering by dust particles. Some of the dust particles are hygroscopic in nature, that is, readily absorbing moisture from the air, and as such act as a nuclei of condensation. Nuclei of condensation. Thus, the dust particles are an important contributory factor in the formation of clouds and different forms of the precipitation, fog and hailstones, etc. The many particles, thus solid particles, are invisible to the naked eye and are microscopic. They originate from the different sources, both natural and man-made. At times, the ascending air currents carry the dust particles to great heights in the atmosphere. The upper atmosphere also receives a very small amount of dust from the disintegration of the innumerable meteors passing through the atmosphere. So far, we dealt with the introduction to atmosphere, origin and evolution of the atmosphere, and the composition of the atmosphere. In the next session, we will look into the structure of the atmosphere in detailed manner. Thank you. Thank you, Anandal. Thank you very much.